Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back. I'm Katja and today we are diving into what would be a real treat for mycophiles. And it was a treat for me too. I'm not an expert on fungi by any means, but today we're talking about Fungarium, which is part of the Welcome to the Museum series. Um, yeah, it is usually found in the children's section. I was sort of like stopping myself because I was going to say this kind of threw me because I wasn't sure. Is it supposed to be for children? Is it not supposed to be for children? Whatever. The book has something for everyone, in my opinion. Katie Scott's illustrations are breathtakingly beautiful, and she has absolutely brought to life the diversity of fungi that is around us. Everything from mushrooms in your grocery store to the amazing type of mold that gave us penicillin, and even the types of fungi that you know now that you need to steer away from. But Fungarium is not just a beautiful feast for the eyes. I should really open it because it is so pretty. It has got amazing illustrations taking us through time periods and showing the diversity, the growth, everything. So, in that way, it is just, stunning. And I would say it's like a coffee table book, more so than a book that you would expect to be found in the children's section of a bookstore. And the other thing that made me wonder about it being in that children's section is the text. Now, the text sheds light on the indispensable role that fungi plays in our ecosystems. But a word of caution, for me anyway, while the visuals really hooked me right away, the text felt a bit hit and miss. Parts of it were engaging and really fascinating. Other bits were quite technical and dry, and that is what threw me about this book. It really surprised me because I thought, who is it aimed at? I don't know. If you're a beginner in the world of mycology, you might end up like me, impressed but not necessarily deeply informed on the first go unless you commit to actually studying it thoroughly. And it made me think, actually, or remember the days when, as a kid, I could really get intense about specific subjects. So, in that way, perhaps, like for kids that get really hooked into, oh, I love dinosaurs, and they have their dinosaur phase, they could have their mushroom phase and just want to know everything about that and even get technical and start spouting Latin names at you. Maybe that's the aim. Either way, I just think that it is really beautiful, and it's great for someone who can see the potential of this wonder-filled world of fungi. And then it has those little bits of, oh, I don't know about this text. I've read it and I've read it again and I've totally forgotten it. But that's me. Now, speaking of the Welcome to the Museum series that this is a part of, I'm now super intrigued about the other books like Botanicum and also, which is also illustrated by Katie Scott, and also Anaticum, which I don't think is illustrated by her, but I can't remember who it is illustrated by. So next I want to shout out Curious Reader, a fellow booktuber, because it's through their channel that I became aware of Fungarium. I've linked their channel in the video description, so definitely worth checking them out. And yeah, for any other book recommendations. Also, let me know in the comments if you've read this one or any of the other books in the Welcome to the Museum series, and if you have any recommendations from those. Are you planning on reading this, or is it on your radar and it's on your to be read next sort of book? Before signing off, just a quick personal note to say that I have been posting irregularly this year, which is the opposite of what I intended to do for 2023. And life has taken a turn, but not necessarily in a bad way. I've been working on managing my stage 4 endometriosis, which means I've got adhesions to internal organs. So I've got things linked up that shouldn't be linked up internally, lots of internal stuff. But anyway, I have been doing stuff that rejuvenates me, and that includes making my space just feel really comfortable and stress-free. So I finished painting in here. Um, it was a real hassle doing it, but it feels so good finally all having it done. I don't know if you can see, I'm going to try and turn the camera a bit. You might be able to see that I've got some pens over there. If not, I'll put up another video. I've got pens on the wall as well and calligraphy inks. And I've been finding that making time to do these hobbies is really bolstering me. And booktube is one of those hobbies that makes me feel rejuvenated. So I want to get back to that now that I'm not having to repaint various rooms and stuff. So you will see me back here. I'm thinking, yes, I will be back with my Victober reading because obviously being October, we've got all the Victorian classics that we're exploring. So I'll be part of the group read, and I've got books that tick all of the challenges from the hosts. And I want to share with you all of the science fiction and fantasy that I read in September, which really surprised me because I've been really reading a lot of historical fiction and reading a lot of non-fiction. And then just last month, I was suddenly like fantasy and sci-fi. And for the sci-fi, I really zoned into um, space opera. And the reason being that that made me not feel drained. So sometimes with sci fi, I love it, but it makes me feel tired because the world building is so large and the different characters and it's just so expansive sometimes. And space opera just takes out a lot of that mental stress. And it's just like pure joy just reading through. It's kind of like if you're reading romance, you read a Georgette Heyer thing. It just sort of like takes you away. But anyway, I could go on and on about that. I will come back talking about space opera, fantasy, and Victorian classics. So thanks so much for joining me. And also thank you for anyone new who's joined. I noticed that very unexpected and sweet. I noticed that in Lisa C's newsletter, she mentioned my review of her book, Lady Tan, uh, at Circle of Women. And I was just like, wow. And I think six of you have joined following that newsletter. So thank you so much for subscribing. Anyway, take care. Bye.